Solana airdrop season is just getting started, and 2024 could be a really big year, giving early adopters a chance to receive life-changing money simply for clicking a few buttons and making a few on-chain transactions. So in today's video, I'm going to provide you with a complete checklist and strategy for getting Solana airdrops in 2024 and beyond. And you can follow along with this checklist and strategy as much as you want. If you want to be more aggressive in farming Solana airdrops, then I recommend returning to it at least monthly, if not weekly. And if you just want to throw out a few seeds for some set and forget airdrops in the Solana ecosystem, you have that chance as well. Because just a couple of weeks ago, for example, with Krypto, we saw that people received tens of thousands of dollars per wallet simply for staking and holding a few SOL tokens with Krypto. Now, not all of the airdrops in this list here today will be nearly as easy as that, but I will walk you through each one and we'll discuss what the best approach is to maximize your potential airdrop farming returns in 2024. Now, the Solana ecosystem is already pretty massive, as you can see from this infographic right here, and it's only growing faster now that the price of SOL has rebounded from bear market lows. But out of this entire ecosystem of Solana projects, all of which you could interact with trying to farm airdrops, I have compiled a list of what I think are the most likely targets to actually receive decent money. And all of these projects on the list here either already have a token and are airdropping to ongoing users. They have confirmed a token saying that they will release one at some point in the next year or so. And the final category of projects on this list are ones that a lot of people have speculated will have a token at some point in the near future. And so even if only a few of the apps and protocols on this list right here are actually going to be heavy hitters, where, for example, you could get a 5-figure airdrop, and getting a couple of those in the new year would not be a bad way to kickstart your journey to crypto wealth. And let's be honest here, the worst case scenario here is that you're going to spend a few dollars in transaction fees interacting with these different applications. You might actually earn some yield from staking or DeFi or yield farming. And as long as you don't take on too much risk with leverage in some of the DeFi applications, then farming airdrops from the protocols on this list is going to be largely a positive expected value activity. It's only going to take a little bit of your time and a little bit of your money. And a link to this spreadsheet checklist will be included in the description of the video and also in the pinned comment. So you can access this completely for free and just copy and paste it into a new Google Doc that you can use. So let's discuss the different apps on the list here and talk about the strategy for using this checklist. On the left-hand side here, I have a list of the different apps and protocols that I am focusing on. And at the bottom, I've actually included some of the projects that have either already airdropped or have already had a snapshot for their airdrops, including Krypto, Pyth, and Jupiter Exchange. Oh, and one thing I should mention here is that in column A for each of these projects, I've actually linked the application where the name is highlighted in blue. So it just makes it easier for you to navigate to that if you're actually using this version of the checklist. And the second column shows you the type of application that it is. Now there's a few different types. We've got DeFi, / I guess I should call this real world assets. We've got decentralized exchanges, we've got bridging, we've got staking, we've got gaming, NFTs, and finally wallets. And for each of these apps, there's different types of activities that you need to complete in order to maximize your airdrop potential. Now in this column here, I have posted links to tutorial videos that I've made if I have a tutorial for that protocol. In some of these cases, I will be releasing tutorial videos at some point in the near future that you can follow along with, especially for the more complicated ones. For example, MarginFi. It's just a little bit easier if you know what you're doing. Then we've got the notes column here where I've included a couple of helpful pointers. And then finally, I've got the actual checklist portion of this. So you can customize this however you like. For example, if you're going to come back to this weekly, then you could simply do week 1, week 2, and then put a little X every time you complete it. Or you could do it monthly, totally up to you. So let's go through the list here. Now, I'm not gonna go into extreme detail on each one of these, especially since for some of them, I already have solid tutorial videos that you can go check out. The first project on the list here is MarginFi, and that is where you can lend, borrow, and stake crypto assets. Now, they already have a points system where you get points for lending and borrowing on the platform, and it's pretty much confirmed that those points are going to be rolled over into an airdrop allocation at some point in the next year. So that is definitely a good target for DeFi. Now, with the lending and borrowing portion of it, it's not like you actually have to come back every week or month and lend and borrow more. What it's really about is the value of the transactions that you complete and the length of time. So let's say you lend $100 worth of SOL tokens on the platform. Well, the longer that you keep that loan on the platform, the more points that you get. And again, with Camino, this is another DeFi platform that it's quite similar, where you can lend and borrow crypto assets. You can actually do a little bit more with Camino, including provide liquidity and to use leveraged staking, as well as options vaults. And they have a point system that is coming soon. So I would say in terms of priority, you probably want to do MarginFi first, because they're a lot closer to the airdrop than Camino is, where they haven't actually even released their point system, but it's still a good idea to get in as early as possible. Meteora is another airdrop target in the DeFi category, where you can provide liquidity, and you can also farm liquidity to get additional yield. Parcel is another one that I have been farming recently, and this is where you can trade real-world assets that are linked to real estate markets, currently only in the US, but they're planning on expanding to global cities soon. So what you can do on this platform is trade and provide liquidity, and they do have a point system already set up that, again, will probably result in an airdrop. So the more points that you collect by keeping trades open on the platform and then providing liquidity to the platform, obviously the larger the airdrop allocation will be. Next, we've got Drift, which is kind of a combo decentralized exchange and DeFi platform. So you can actually trade perpetual options on this, but you can also lend and borrow, stake, and provide liquidity. Now, one thing to note here is that the minimum deposit onto the platform is $50 US. So you can't actually really get started with this until you have that amount of money. Okay, next up we have Zeta, which is another DEX for trading perpetual options. And with Zeta, aside from just depositing onto the platform and trading perps, they actually also have a ZPass NFT. And if you hold one of those, you get points multipliers. And you also get points multipliers if your trades are profitable, which is really the only one on the list that I've seen is basically giving a bigger portion of the airdrop to profitable traders. So if you're actually good at trading on the platform, you not only earn money from your trading, but you'll also get a multiplier and get a higher level of airdrop. So that is an interesting feature as well. Also, the token for this one is confirmed, and their point system will be rolled over into the airdrop. This next one, Phoenix Trade, I've seen some people discussing on Twitter. This one, I'm less certain about whether or not it will actually have an airdrop. It's a very simple platform, and all you can really do on it is trade. Of course, it wouldn't hurt to just do 1 or 2 trades every week or every month just to generate a little bit of volume with these guys on the off chance that they actually have an airdrop. Next up, we have Mayan, which is actually kind of like a DEX bridge combo. And here you can swap and bridge between different blockchains. And so one of the main things you would use Mayan for is to swap tokens from, say, an ETH layer 2 to Solana, and also back and forth. But I did include in the notes that you have to be careful of slippage, especially with those cross-chain swaps. And sometimes, especially if you're only moving small amounts of money just to generate a transaction, you could lose something like 20% of the value of your transaction through slippage. So definitely be careful of that. Next, we've got Wormhole, which is another bridge. And this isn't exactly a Solana play, but you can bridge to and from the Solana blockchain from, again, Ethereum if you want to. And there is a good chance by doing that, then you could qualify for the Wormhole airdrop. Now, the next 2 ones on the list I have are related to staking. And as we saw with Jito just a couple of weeks ago, people made tens of thousands just by staking and holding the liquid staking tokens from Jito. Now, Marinade and Sol already have tokens. However, with Marinade Finance, you can actually earn the MNDE token simply by staking. So this one, I don't know if I would actually call it an airdrop, but on an ongoing basis, you can earn those tokens. And it's a very similar system with Solblaze, where they airdrop BLZE tokens every couple of weeks to people that hold the BSOL liquid staking token. So these ones, I would say on this list, are some of the easiest to qualify for, because it's not like you have to go back weekly or monthly. All you have to do is just stake a little bit of SOL, and then you'll start to earn those tokens. Next on the list, we've got Fractal, which is actually a gaming platform. And so in order to qualify for this potential airdrop, you can go on the platform, play games and earn points, and you can also collect rewards and NFTs for doing so. Speaking of NFTs, we've then got 3 projects on the list that are in the NFT space that probably will have an airdrop. Well, actually 2 of them almost certainly will, including Tensor and Magic Eden. And so with these platforms, really the main thing to do is to list and bid on NFTs and to trade NFTs. With Tensor, there's other things you can do. So for example, you can market make, and there's a specific type of NFT called a Tensorium, which if you own, you get additional points for, and that will actually qualify you to refer others as well. However, it's pretty expensive. As of the time of this recording, I think they were trading for around 100 SOL tokens, so over $1,000. The Drip protocol is also in the NFT space. This one is great because all you have to do is subscribe and you can get free NFT drops. So this one is pretty simple to farm and it won't take much of your time or your money. However, this one is less certain that there will be actually a lucrative airdrop at some point in the future. We'll see. And then finally, we got a couple of wallets. We've got Backpack and Phantom. Phantom is the Solana wallet that I'm using currently for most of my airdrop farming activities, but the more applications that you use it with, the better. And if you make swaps within the wallet, then that is also probably going to be a qualifier if they do have an airdrop. And with the Backpack wallet, it's a browser extension wallet that you can download, and they also have an exchange. Now, the exchange requires KYC, so you have to upload a picture of an ID, and you have to decide whether or not that's something you are comfortable doing. So that is the list of Solana ecosystem airdrop projects that I'm currently tracking. I will update this list in the future if I come across other examples of projects that I think actually have a good chance of dropping a token at some point in the near future. Now, if we're talking about strategy, again, obviously it depends on how aggressive you want to be. In some of these cases, it's pretty simple. So for example, if you lend or borrow assets on MarginFi, then you just need to hold them over time and you'll earn points for that. Same thing with the staking, but in some cases, it's actually based on how often you come back. So with the DEXs where you're trading options, or if you're just swapping different tokens, then for those ones, you probably want to go back on a regular basis and make frequent swaps just to generate volume. The same thing applies to bridging tokens. The more that you bridge in terms of the value and the volume, then obviously the better off you'll be if these guys do token drops. And to be honest, of this list, the ones that I'm least enthusiastic about, just because of the sheer amount of time and energy you'd have to put in, are the NFT platform ones, because you have to be buying and listing and bidding and trading quite often to move up their leaderboard. So that takes not only a decent amount of time, but also a decent capital investment. But even if you just use this checklist and spend a couple minutes per week clicking a few buttons and making a few transactions on chain, I can pretty much guarantee you that in 2024, you will qualify for some Solana ecosystem airdrops, and some of them could actually be worth a lot of money. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. Again, feel free to just copy paste this checklist and use it for yourself. I will keep it updated as I come across new projects. And I've also got down here a different tab with an Ethereum ecosystem airdrop checklist that is much more complex, involved, and complicated, especially once you factor in that there's many different layer 2 networks on Ethereum. I have posted another video where I go through this checklist here. So feel free to use this however you see fit. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you later.